So, if you're learning Japanese, you've probably hit a wall, a really big one, and its name is grammar. Today, we're going to look at why that wall even exists, and more importantly, how you can tear it down just by changing your whole approach. Let's get into it. You know, it all starts with a question just like this one. This comment, it just perfectly captures that feeling of being totally stuck. And when they mention auxiliary verbs, all those little endings like masu, tai, rareru, that tweak a verb's meaning, man, that hits home. It's a feeling shared by so many learners who feel like they're just drowning in rules they can't actually use in a real conversation. And I really want to start by saying this. If any of that sounds familiar to you, you're absolutely not alone. I've been there, we've all been there. This is one of the biggest hurdles in learning Japanese. And it's not because you're bad at languages. Nope. It's because of how we're taught to think about grammar in the first place. Okay, so in this first part, let's really get to the bottom of the problem. Why does studying so much grammar so often lead to frustration instead of, actual fluency? This right here, this is the core of it all. We often treat Japanese grammar like it's a math formula. We memorize these rigid rules, we drill verb groups, we learn exceptions, as if building a sentence is just solving an equation. But language isn't math. It's human expression. It's all about feeling and context and a natural flow, not just cold hard rules. And that whole math formula approach, it completely falls apart the second things get even a little bit complicated. When you're in a real conversation, you don't have time to stop, pull out a mental calculator, and figure out which conjugation to use. By the time you do that, the moment's gone. And this just brilliantly shows the point. I mean, look at this word, tabesasera de nakutai. If you try to build this thing piece by piece, it's an absolute nightmare. Okay, let's see. Start with to eat, then add the causative, then the passive, then the want to form, then the negative. It's slow, it's confusing, and honestly, your brain just hurts trying to process it like that. So here's the crucial takeaway. The problem isn't that you don't know the rules. You might have them memorized perfectly. The problem is that the rules are just abstract data sitting in your head. They haven't been absorbed into your body. They're not second nature, and that's exactly what you need for fluent natural speech. And that brings us to the fundamental shift in mindset. This is the real aha moment. We've got to move from just studying grammar to actually feeling it. The entire solution is captured in this one powerful phrase: stop studying grammar and start feeling it. Now, I know that might sound a little out there, maybe a bit poetic, but it's an incredibly practical approach that will literally rewire how your brain processes Japanese. So what does it really mean to feel grammar? Well, it means you stop connecting a grammar point to some dry textbook definition. Instead, you start connecting it to a real human experience, an emotion, a situation, a specific intention. It's about understanding why someone would say something a certain way, not just picking apart how the sentence is built. All right, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually do it? In this next section, we're going to cover 3 practical, actionable techniques you can start using today to make this happen. Yep, 3 simple but incredibly powerful methods to help you finally internalize Japanese grammar, moving it from your head down into your gut, right where it belongs. The first technique is all about physical practice. It's time to train your body, and specifically your mouth, just like an athlete trains for a sport. And this is where it gets really fun. So here's how it works. You pick one simple verb, like iku, to go. Then you just start saying it out loud with all the different endings, focusing on the rhythm and the flow, something like watashi ga iku, watashi ga ikitai, watashi ga ikeru, watashi ga ikanai. You do this over and over. You're not just memorizing, you're building real, actual muscle memory. This is the key principle right here. You're learning with your body, not just your head. Before you know it, your brain starts to recognize these patterns automatically, without you having to consciously think through every single rule every single time. It just becomes instinctive. Okay, the second technique moves us from that physical repetition to an emotional connection. You need to connect grammar directly with your heart. Think about a line from your favorite anime. You've heard this a million times, right? A character's late, they're panicked, and they shout, "Mo ikanakucha." When you hear that, you don't think, that's the casual form of nakereba naranai. No way. You feel the character's panic, their urgency. You connect that grammar point, nakucha, directly to that powerful feeling of, I have to go now. That emotional link is an anchor for your memory that you will never forget. And finally, our third technique.
This one is all about bringing a little clarity to the chaos. It's about simplifying things and organizing your mind so you don't feel so completely overwhelmed. Japanese often has a bunch of different ways to say the same thing, right? Well, don't try to learn them all at once. Instead, group them by their function. So if you want to express the idea of wanting to do something, you know you can reach for your tai or hoshi tools. If you need to give advice, you look in your advice group. This turns a messy pile of rules into a clean, organized toolbox that you can actually use. So with these techniques in your back pocket, let's talk about your path forward and kind of wrap this all up with the big picture. I think the most important thing you can take away from this is that grammar is not a cage of rules that's designed to trap you. It is a toolbox. It's a toolbox that gives you the power to express your thoughts, your feelings, and your personality more richly and more freely. The goal is to feel comfortable and creative with these tools. So to quickly recap the 3 core mindsets from today. First, learn with your body. Get that muscle memory going through repetition. Second, learn with your heart by connecting grammar to real feelings and situations. And third, keep your mind clear. Organize your knowledge, and please don't try to learn everything all at once. And that brings us to the end. These methods are all designed to make grammar an intuitive, natural part of how you speak Japanese. So my question for you is, what's your favorite method for making grammar stick? What helps you move from just knowing a rule to truly feeling it? Thanks so much for tuning in.